Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel and continue on this Inspired by series. And today I am inspired by Adele Toomey from Inky Quill. I'm actually kind of nervous about this process because I'm not very comfortable just yet with mixed media. Adele, if you follow her on YouTube, there's a lot of mixed media going on. I'm probably gonna keep it pretty light. I'm even scared to even simply just gesso the paper, which I've already done because I didn't show y'all that's a pretty boring process. Quite a lot of layers going on with Adele as far as different kinds of textures. So we have paper and tissue paper and doilies, embellishments, and just a bunch of stuff, and I'm going to go through here in a little bit of all the supplies. It's also another reason why I like her so much, because she's very inspiring to use up your stash. But it's so simple, like there's a lot going on, but it's so simple. So this is the photo that I'm going to be using. It's about me and my daughter. A lot of the photos I'm going to use in the series are probably about me and my daughter. That's us on Easter Sunday. Alright, so some of the supplies that I noticed that she uses are 6x6 paper pads, and this is from Dear Lizzie, and it reminds me of summer, but you can also use this for spring. Really like the colors here, really love that one. And Adele uses tissue paper to back up her photos like you would use cardstock or other pattern paper, but I don't have tissue paper, so I'm going to use vellum. Then doilies, of course. She's known for using doilies on her layouts. Bringing out some bunny stickers. I've got a lot of questions on where these are from. These are from the Target dollar spot from last year, so unfortunately they're discontinued. Of course, you can't have a layout inspired by Adele without some tiny word stickers, and these are from Maggie Holmes from the Chasing Dreams. Ephemera from the Wonder collection. Just a bit of stuff, some florals here, some four. I thought that would be good because this photo was taken in April. 6x6 cut apart. Alphas, I'm not sure which ones I want to use. I thought these were kind of neat for a special occasion. I'm just going to put Easter Sunday as my title. Let's see if we'll use those. Maybe use these. Good to go with the tiny word stickers and the ephemera. Or we'll use some of this cursive alpha stickers from Studio Calico. I thought that was kind of fancy for Easter Sunday. And for enamel dots, which these are not really enamel dots. We have some pearls and some rhinestone. If I do want to use enamel dot, my stash is around me, close by. Alright, so here I am bringing out my watercolors, and it's about the only thing in my scrapbook stash that has anything to do with mixed media. Which is kind of a bummer because some dilution sprays would be really nice, but it's okay. I make do. Like I said, I'm a newbie, and so I didn't want to buy a whole bunch of supplies without really knowing what to do with them. So little by little steps, baby steps. So here I am just mixing to get the perfect blue that is on my dress, the lighter shade of blue. Spraying a little bit of water and just mixing those two colors, and I think I finally got it. Using the packaging technique, which is actually recommended if you're new at it. It's like the easiest and no-brainer technique if you want to start out doing mixed media, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I wouldn't recommend doing this with watercolor though. I would recommend doing it with some dilution sprays or maybe some of those Tim Holtz ink, little mini ink pads, just because it's a little tricky with watercolor. And I also wanted to bring in some green that's in the photo. And with watercolors, I'd recommend doing just two colors. And then if you want to add more colors, how you would do mists, how you just want little dots of mists, like Heidi Shine. Just because with watercolor, so if you mix it too much, it just turns into like a weird brownish gray color if too many colors mix. So I would just leave it to just two colors, which you'll see in a moment by what I mean, because I thought too much of that coral was on there, and so I tried to pick it up and it smushed into the other colors, so that wasn't good. Freeze framing it there so you can see those two different kinds of blues in my dress that I was trying to bring out there, and bringing in a little bit more of a darker blue for that one stripe that is on my dress. I actually do really like how this turned out. I wish that it had a little bit more of a shine to it, like maybe the dilutions paint would, or it would be more vibrant, because watercolors they dry pretty matte. So I'm bringing in this white Heidi Shine that you can barely see. It really is so that I can add a little bit of shine to it. So I really like how it turned out. The colors went really well. Just drying it off, and actually watercolor dries pretty quickly, so not too long. Added a bit of yellow just because I wanted to bring in some more spring colors, and I really like how it turned out. Not too bad. Figuring out the placement of my photo, and honestly, I wish that I would have matted my photo with all the papers I'm going to use, because you'll see in a minute. Anyways, so I thought those doilies were just a bit too dark for this photo, just a bit too in your face. The color is just too corally. I wanted something a little bit more subtle, so I figured I'd put them to the side and start matting my photos with all the different papers that I like. First that floral, then this pink, and these are just scraps from the paper pad. So really, after this, I think I have used up a 6x6 paper pad. Yay! I'll applaud myself. So here I cheat a bit. I don't have enough, and I want that yellow to extend to the top too. So if you want that, all you have to do is cheat. You trim, and then bring it to the top. Make sure you have enough to actually make it look like it is one big paper. And then voila, there you go, cheated. You would think it's one long piece of paper, but it's not. So I'm like, okay, maybe now it's time to bring in the doilies. No, you see how they just pop out? You totally don't even look at the watercolor background, you just look at the doilies. And so I thought, no, I'm going to bring in something a little lighter. And I ended up bringing a lighter shade of, it's more of a peach. And it works out because it looks so much more Eastery, I think. I thought two, because my doilies aren't as big, but just with one would work. I'm done matting my photo with scrapbook paper, so I bring in that vellum, and then, oh look, so I gessoed this paper, but the hairs of my brush were shedding so bad, so I wasn't able to use this piece. But I was testing out the watercolors to get that shade of blue and the right shades of corals, and so I figured I want to keep that scrap piece of yellows and pinks for maybe use them in this layout. Anyway, so on to matting this whole paper and photo with the vellum. And it doesn't work exactly as tissue paper, because tissue paper I think Adele uses more so for the texture, not so much the transparency. And I'm using the vellum for transparency, so you could see through it for the watercolor. But that's just what makes it a little bit more of my style, my layout. Yeah, just figured out the placement, and this is where I wish I would have matted my photo with all the papers and the vellum before I did the watercolors, so I can see how much more color to add with the watercolors. I guess I could have kept adding, but I didn't. But it's okay. I covered up some of that green that I didn't want you to see, and the yellow, which is not a main color. Anyway, so on to the ephemera. Normally Adele would just stick and plunk, and I am definitely trying to do more of that. This layout, I had to remind myself constantly to just stick it. Put some glue on it and plunk it down on the paper. And this was actually a layout. I did this layout in, I don't know, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and normally a layout would take about 1.5 hours. So a lot less stressful with just stick and plunking, which made this layout very fun to make. Here I am trying to use my tiny attacher on that heart, and I could have stapled it, but instead I'm going to just use this clear gel tacky glue, which sometimes I like it better than the white tacky glue. I don't have to take it off, like if there's too much glue and I have to bring in some paper to take out the excess, I don't have to do it so much, I find, with the clear one. Anyways, just cutting a little bit of this cut apart. I want to bring in that You Make My Heart Sing yellow. Just figuring out where to put it. That little deer, which is so Adele, right? That little deer, little vintage deer from the Wonder Collection. That little gray to bring in some more of those florals and the yellows and the oranges from the watercolor. And oh, I hadn't realized that I hadn't stuck that You Make My Heart Sing yellow. So on that goes. And I really like this. It's also part from the color part. I like how all the colors are all in that striped pattern. So I bring out my circle punch and punch out some 1" circles. I could also bring in these little tiny gold hearts because, of course, you know, can't have an Adele layout without some tiny gold hearts. I bring in the 3rd circle, Yeah, let's talk a little bit about this photo here. So, like I said, it was on Easter Sunday, and my husband was actually in Germany for a conference, which I was very happy that he was there, and a little bit sad that he was going to miss Easter because Easter is one of my favorite holidays. It trumps Christmas for me. It means a lot to me. And so even if it's rain or shine, I am wearing an Easter outfit, and Mila had an Easter outfit, and I made her that little headband that she's wearing. So he was very missed, but we still had a really good time. I made sure it was very special for her. And anyways, let's talk about these bunnies. Yes, I wish I had 100 of these so I could give it out to 100 people, but I only bought one. And when I was buying them, I was like, you need to buy 5 of these, and I didn't. I should have bought 5 of them. Choosing which bunny to use. See, you have one bunny on the left side looking to the right, and bunny on top looks like it's looking at us. Decide to go with the cursive alphas from Studio Calico, and my camera battery was going low, so you don't get to see the whole process of me putting down the stickers. Bringing in some tiny word stickers finally from Maggie Holmes, and this is from the Chasing Dreams. I know I have already said what these supplies are and where they're from, what collection they are from the beginning of the video, but just thought I would do it again in case y'all missed that part. That one says delightful, love you. Then I remembered, oh, I have this little bit from the tiny, wait, oh! Yeah, my camera just totally fell. Anyway, this little tiny words came from the cut apart, and it says, I think it says, I squeeze you tight, or a tight squeeze from me to you. There you go. Roller stamp. Of course, you can't have an Adele inspired layout without a roller stamp. And I really like this one. The month is in cursive, and then the date is just standard, the numbers. And one of my pet peeves is when the edges of a stamp with it, and you don't want that. The little trick is to put some washi and cover up where you don't want it to be stamped. And then when you go for ink, you just simply wipe it off with a wipe. There you go. And stamp it up. But I noticed that the number didn't really come out well, so I had to stamp it again and then 3 times, which is fine because Adele stamps multiple times. Going to use some pearls because pearls just reminds me of spring and Easter. Fancy, I guess. Spreading them out there. Bring out a set of tinier pearls. Is tinier a word? I think it is. Anyways, spreading them all over the page. And I'm about done, so I bring in the Heidi Shine, some gold Heidi Shine, shake, 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 and yeah, a big blob accidentally got on the paper, so now I had to fake other blobs around the photo there, see? Yeah, which is totally doable, totally okay. I'm about done here. Usually the gold Heidi Shine means I'm about done. However, I did add a bit, and you'll see in the photos, a bit of a cluster on the bottom corner. And then I called it done, and it's so pretty. I love it. This was so much fun. Oh, wait. Oh, yes, my journaling. So I decided to take blue to match the dress. And then as I'm journaling, I'm thinking the blue is way too dark compared to the other embellishments. So I busted an Adele move here, and I just traced around some embellishments around the hearts specifically. And that worked out really well. Just spread it out, that dark blue ink. And now it is done. Anyways, thanks for watching, y'all. And I'll see you in my next video, which the layout will be inspired by Miss Paige Evans. So I'm pretty excited about that. And yeah, that's all.